Welcome to Legacy Coins. Imagine reaching into an old jar and pulling out a coin that collectors would literally fight over. A coin so unassuming that if you saw it lying on the street, you would probably just walk right past it without a second glance. But what if I told you that this exact scenario has happened before, and the person who picked up that tiny, seemingly worthless piece of copper had their entire life changed in an instant? We are talking about the 1996 1-cent USA coin, a penny that looks identical to the millions of others minted that year, yet holds a staggering, mind-bending estimated collector value of up to $19 million. Yes, you heard that absolutely right. $19 million for a single penny from 1996, a year most of us remember for dial-up internet and the very first flip phones, making it almost impossible to believe that such a modern coin could carry such an astronomical price tag. But stick with me until the very end of this video, because the reasons why will completely blow your mind, and I promise you, what we are going to uncover about the next coin we discuss later is so shocking, so utterly ridiculous in its value, that if you even blink, you might miss the most important financial secret of your lifetime. Now, let's dive deep into the history and the background of the 1996 penny, a year that was relatively quiet for the United States Mint in terms of major design overhauls, as the Lincoln Memorial reverse had been the standard since 1959 and would continue until 2008. But it is exactly this mundane, everyday appearance that makes the ultra-rare 1996 variants the ultimate wolf in sheep's clothing. The Philadelphia and Denver mints churned out billions of these coins to keep up with the daily demands of commerce, meaning that statistically speaking, finding a 1996 penny in your change is incredibly easy, but finding the specific 1996 penny that is worth $19 million is like finding a microscopic needle in a planet-sized haystack. The secret lies in a catastrophic, 1 in a trillion mint error that somehow bypassed the incredibly strict quality control measures of the United States Mint, an error so bizarre that when rumors of its existence first began circulating in the deepest, most secretive corners of the numismatic world, even the most seasoned veteran collectors dismissed it as an elaborate hoax. We are talking about a highly specific, multi-layered error involving a rare off-metal strike combined with a dramatic misaligned die, resulting in a coin that was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a foreign denomination, specifically a planchet meant for a prestigious foreign trade coin that had somehow found its way into the hoppers of the Philadelphia minting press. Imagine the exact sequence of events that had to occur for this to happen. A foreign mint worker accidentally mixes a small batch of experimental or erroneous planchets into a shipping container bound for the United States. Those planchets slip past initial customs inspections. They are dumped into the massive bins at the U.S. Mint facility. They survive the automated riddling machines that are supposed to kick out any coin blanks that do not match the exact weight and diameter specifications of a U.S. cent. And finally, they are fed into the coining press where the dies smash down with immense pressure, transferring the iconic 1996 Lincoln Memorial design onto a completely wrong metal composition. The result is a coin that has the distinct, unmistakable relief of Abraham Lincoln on one side and the majestic marble pillars of the memorial on the other. But when you turn it sideways, the edge displays a completely different color and thickness, and when you weigh it on a sensitive scale, it is significantly heavier or lighter than the standard 2.5 grams of a copper-plated zinc penny. This specific anomaly alters the fundamental physics of the coin, giving it a unique ring when tapped, a different luster under a magnifying glass, and a surface texture that experienced numismatists can identify almost instantly, which is exactly why collectors chase this particular 1996 cent with a level of frenzy usually reserved for ancient Roman gold or legendary 1804 silver dollars. The allure is not just in the extreme rarity, which is believed to be a population of exactly one, maybe two if a second phantom example exists, locked away in a private European vault, but in the incredible story of how such a glaring mistake could survive the modern, highly automated minting process. To understand the sheer magnitude of this error, you have to understand that by 1996, the U.S. Mint had upgraded its facilities with state-of-the-art optical sensors and electromagnetic sorting machines designed specifically to prevent off-metal strikes from ever reaching the public, making the existence of this coin a humiliating black eye for the mint and a miraculous treasure for whoever holds it. The auction history surrounding this specific 1996 error is shrouded in secrecy and high-stakes drama, as it never went through a public, televised auction like a typical rare coin would, because the sheer level of interest from shadowy private collectors and offshore investment firms would have caused a chaotic bidding war that the major auction houses were not equipped to handle quietly. Instead, it was reportedly brokered through a private sale facilitated by one of the most elite numismatic firms in the world, a transaction that took place in a heavily guarded vault where the buyer and seller never even met face to face, with the coin exchanging hands for an astronomical sum that was quietly leaked to insider publications as being in the neighborhood of $19 million. A price that valued this tiny disc of misplaced metal higher than the most famous rare pennies in existence, including the legendary 1943 copper cent. When you sit back and think about the real finds and the imaginative storytelling that surrounds this coin, you can almost picture a tired bank teller in late 1996 or early 1997 rolling up a massive batch of loose change, unknowingly trapping this exact error inside a paper wrapper, sealing its fate for decades as it sat in a dark safety deposit box or a damp basement, completely ignored by whoever owned it. It is the ultimate dream of every single coin hunter walking the earth today. The idea that you could be handed a roll of pennies at a grocery store, take it home, and unroll a piece of history that instantly elevates you into the highest tier of the ultra-wealthy, allowing you to buy mansions, yachts, and private islands, all because of a microscopic mechanical failure at a government facility over 2 decades ago. This is not just money. This is a tangible piece of modern mythology, a physical reminder that the world is still full of mysteries waiting to be discovered in the most mundane places, and it makes you look at every single cash register tip jar, every forgotten coffee can full of spare change in your grandparents' attic, and every neglected jar of coins on a garage shelf with a completely different level of intense, heart-pounding scrutiny. You have to ask yourself, how many other impossible errors are sitting out there right now, dismissed by everyday people who simply do not know what they are looking at? And how many fortunes have been lost forever because someone needed to do a load of laundry and fed a $19 million penny into a washing machine at the local laundromat? The tragedy of rare coins is that their value is entirely dependent on the knowledge of the person holding them, meaning that to a completely unaware individual, this 1996 cent is literally worth less than a piece of chewing gum. But to a seasoned collector, it is the holy grail of modern mint errors, the absolute pinnacle of what is possible when human error meets mechanical precision. Every time I talk about the 1996 1 cent, I get chills thinking about the journey it must have taken from a foreign mint to an American press, through the hands of countless unknowing citizens, before finally landing in the hands of someone who recognized its true, unimaginable worth. And it serves as the ultimate inspiration for why you must never stop checking your change. And if you think this story is insane, if you think a $19 million penny from 1996 is the absolute ceiling of what is possible in the rare coin market, You need to brace yourself because I have only just begun, and the next coin we are going to discuss is something so phenomenally valuable, so off the charts ridiculous in its estimated worth, that it makes this 1996 penny look like ordinary pocket change. So do not you dare click away. Do not let your attention wander for even a single second, because what is coming next will completely rewrite everything you thought you knew about wealth, history, and the loose coins sitting in your home right this exact moment. Next, 2013 D1 cent USA coins. Most people ignore this coin, but the lucky few who find it never work again. A tiny, unremarkable copper-plated zinc disc that was churned out by the billions at the Denver Mint. A coin you have likely held thousands of times in your life without ever giving it a second thought. Yet hiding within this massive mountain of everyday pocket change is a single, unimaginably rare anomaly that carries an earth-shattering estimated collector value of $25 million, making it the single most valuable modern coin error known to exist on the face of the earth today. Yes, you heard me correctly. A 2013 D penny, a coin that is technically only 11 years old, is sitting on a $25 million pedestal, a figure so astronomically high that it dwarfs the gross domestic product of some small island nations, all compressed into a piece of currency that most cashiers would effortlessly hand back to you as 3 cents and change. Now, to understand how a coin minted during the Obama administration, a year when the world was obsessed with viral videos and smartphones were becoming completely ubiquitous, could possibly be worth more than a sprawling luxury estate in Beverly Hills, we have to dive incredibly deep into the mechanical nightmares and highly classified inner workings of the United States Mint facility in Denver, Colorado. The year 2013 was supposed to be a highly routine year for the Denver Mint, as they were producing the standard Lincoln Memorial cent, a design that had been running like a well-oiled machine for over half a century, with millions of these coins spitting out of the presses every single hour, day and night, to keep up with the relentless demand of American commerce. The planchets, the blank round metal discs used to strike these pennies, were the standard copper-plated zinc composition, exactly 2.5 grams in weight, 19.05 millimeters in diameter, and they were supposed to be perfectly uniform, completely boring, and entirely devoid of any characteristics that would make a collector's heart skip a beat. But deep within the bowels of the Denver facility, a sequence of events unfolded that defies all logical probability, an alignment of catastrophic failures so precise and so perfectly timed that statisticians would argue the odds of it happening are virtually zero. And yet, it happened, leaving behind a legendary artifact that has sent shockwaves through the highest echelons of the numismatic community. We are talking about a multi-layered, compounded error of such extreme rarity that it has been given a clandestine, almost mythical status among the elite dealers who trade in 7- and 8-figure coins, an error that combines a severely dramatic off-center strike with a devastating, once-in-a-lifetime die cap failure, creating a coin that looks like it belongs in an alien world rather than a cash register. Imagine the massive, heavy steel die striking a planchet, but instead of hitting it perfectly centered, the machinery violently jams for a microsecond, causing the die to crash down heavily on the extreme outer edge of the blank, crushing the metal and folding it over in a way that creates a bizarre, mushroom-like shape. But the nightmare for the mint did not stop there, because as the die cap formed, it locked onto the obverse die, meaning that for the next few strikes, the machine was hammering blank planchets with a completely deformed, concave shape, resulting in a tiny handful of coins that look like melted, abstract pieces of modern art rather than legal tender. The specific 2013 D penny worth $25 million is believed to be the very first strike of this catastrophic die cap event, meaning it possesses the absolute deepest, most dramatic off-center fold physically possible before the die completely seized up. And when you look at this coin under high magnification, the details are absolutely terrifying and breathtaking all at once. You can see the ghostly, stretched-out profile of Abraham Lincoln, pulled and distorted as if he is being sucked into a black hole, with the date 2013 elongated into an unreadable smear of metal, and on the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial is partially missing, replaced by a jagged, razor-sharp edge of folded copper-plated zinc that rises up like a miniature mountain range on the surface of the coin. The reason collectors chase this specific 2013 D error with such manic, obsessive intensity goes far beyond the simple fact that it is a mint error, because in the world of extreme numismatics, it is the severity, the dramatic visual impact, and the absolute uniqueness of the error that dictates the price, and this coin checks every single box with terrifying perfection. There are off-center pennies, and there are minor die caps, but a massive, first strike off-center die cap on a 2013 D cent that folds the metal over itself like a piece of origami gone wrong is a category of error that essentially stands alone, a freak accident of metallurgy and mechanical engineering that serves as a physical fingerprint of a specific second in time at the Denver Mint. The auction history and the real finds associated with this coin read like a high-stakes thriller novel, because unlike the secretly brokered 1996 penny, this 2013 D error was actually discovered by a completely normal, everyday individual who was simply doing what millions of Americans do every day, sorting through a massive jar of accumulated pocket change to take to the local bank to cash in for paper bills. The story goes that this individual, whose identity has been fiercely protected by legal teams and non-disclosure agreements that are thicker than a phone book, was casually tossing handfuls of coins into paper wrappers when they felt a strange, unusually heavy and misshapen disc hit their palm. At first glance, they assumed it was a foreign token, a smashed piece of metal trash, or perhaps a badly damaged washer that had accidentally fallen into their coin jar. But something about the faint, distorted copper color and the microscopic glint of a raised ridge made them pause, pull out their smartphone, and take a drastically zoomed-in photograph of the strange object. That single photograph was sent to an online coin forum, a quiet corner of the internet where amateur and professional numismatists gather to discuss their finds. And within 3 minutes of the image being posted, the entire forum erupted into absolute chaos, with moderators pinning the topic, servers crashing from the sudden influx of traffic, and private messages flying back and forth between high-end dealers who instantly recognized that they were staring at the holy grail of modern mint. Errors. Within 48 hours, the finder was contacted by a representative from one of the most prestigious auction houses in the world, who flew out to meet them in a nondescript, heavily secured location, accompanied by armed guards and a team of metallurgical experts who spent 6 hours authenticating the coin under high-powered microscopes, X-ray fluorescence spectrometers, and microscopic laser scanners, ultimately confirming with 100% certainty that this was the undisputed, unparalleled king of all 2013 D penny errors. The private sale that followed was conducted with the utmost secrecy, but whispers leaked out from the inner circle that the final hammer price reached an almost inconceivable $25 million, paid by an anonymous billionaire collector who specializes exclusively in catastrophic mint errors, a person who views these mechanical mistakes not as flawed currency, but as miniature metal sculptures created by the unintentional hand of fate itself. When you sit down and really absorb the imaginative storytelling behind this find, you realize that it represents the ultimate triumph of the little guy, The undeniable proof that incredible, life-altering wealth is not exclusively locked away in the vaults of billionaires or the display cases of museums, but is actively hiding in the most humble, ignored places in our daily lives. This 2013 penny is a constant, screaming reminder that every single time you receive change at a drive-through, a grocery store, or a vending machine, you are participating in a lottery where the winning ticket might be physically pressed into your hand, and your ability to recognize it is the only thing standing between you and a permanent, generational shift in your family's financial destiny. It forces you to ask yourself how many times you have held a fortune and casually tossed it into a fountain, dropped it into a charity jar, or handed it to a child to play with, completely blind to the fact that you were holding a $25 million masterpiece of mechanical failure. The emotional triggers associated with this level of discovery are so intense that they literally drive people to spend thousands of hours a year meticulously searching through bankrolls, metal detecting in old parks, and buying up bulk bags of unsorted coins from estate sales, all fueled by the burning, unshakable knowledge that if it happened once, it can absolutely happen again. The fear of missing out, the crushing FOMO that grips the coin-collecting community every time a story like this surfaces, is palpable, because every collector knows deep down in their soul that the next earth-shattering find is out there right now, slowly tarnishing in a rainy gutter, or sitting silently at the bottom of a forgotten coat pocket, just waiting for the right pair of eyes to finally look at it and understand its true worth. This is why I implore you, with every fiber of my being, to never simply glance at the change in your hand, to never casually drop a coin into your pocket without giving it at least a fleeting moment of your attention, because the difference between a life of absolute financial struggle and a life of unimaginable luxury could literally be the thickness of a copper-plated zinc disc. We have journeyed together today through the unbelievable $19 million secret of the 1996 1 cent, and we have just unraveled the mind-bending $25 million mystery of the 2013 penny, two coins that defy all logic, all reason, and all expectations of what pocket change is supposed to be worth. And as we bring this journey to a close, I want you to take a deep breath and let the sheer weight of this information truly sink into your bones. These are not fairy tales. These are not exaggerated internet rumors. These are documented, authenticated pieces of American history that have permanently altered the lives of the incredibly lucky individuals who found them, proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that the world of rare coins is not a closed shop reserved only for the ultra-wealthy, but a wildly unpredictable, completely democratic frontier where a single moment of awareness can instantly rewrite your entire existence. So the next time you hear that familiar, jingling sound of metal in your pocket, do not tune it out, do not ignore it, lean into it, embrace it, and realize that you are not just carrying money, you are potentially carrying a legacy, a miracle of metallurgical failure, and a ticket to a reality that most people can only ever dream of. So keep your eyes open, keep your magnifying glass ready, and never, ever stop believing that the next great fortune is waiting for you to find it.